Hey, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. So breaking news coming from the Premier League this morning. All games in the Premier League, the EFL, the women's game, academy level, all of the games have been suspended until the 3rd of April, until further notice. This is due to the coronavirus. Now, last night I did put out a video saying that the EFL, the Premier League, should take a stand and suspend all games, follow the suit of what La Liga, the Spanish League, the French League have all done, and decide that this coronavirus is getting really out of hand and it's spreading like wildfire. Last night the news broke that Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta had come to contact with the coronavirus. He's tested positive and he's had to self-isolate for the next few weeks. The same with the Arsenal players. News came out as well yesterday afternoon from Brendan Rodgers, the Leicester manager, that 3 of their players had tested positive for the coronavirus, and it's not only happening to those other clubs, but Bournemouth, Everton, Chelsea. Callum Hudson-Odoi last night as well was another one who's tested positive for coronavirus. The Real Madrid team have also come into contact with the coronavirus. The Juventus centre-back, forgetting his name now, he's also come to contact with the coronavirus, and for me, I wish all those individuals a safe recovery. And not only that, but others who have also come into contact with the coronavirus, because this is a very serious disease and it's killing hundreds, if not thousands of people, as I speak. Obviously, this all came about in Wuhan, China in 2019 of December. But now it's spread like wildfire across the globe and it's hit the likes of Europe. Italy has been massively affected by it, and there's 15,000+ cases, as I speak. There's people dying in the hundreds over in Italy, and in the UK alone, there's been 10 deaths as I speak. There might be more. I haven't really checked the news in the last sort of half an hour, but the cases are quite high, and people are really panicking as well. It's an invisible disease which we can't really cure at the moment. I'm sure the NHS are all working on it, but do you know what it is? At the end of the day, the way I look at it is, I love football, I love supporting Newcastle United, but for me this is a health and safety issue, and there's more to life than football. The health and safety of an individual should be paramount, and it should be taken very, very seriously. And when I seen a statement from the Premier League last night saying that games were going to go ahead as normal, this was before Arteta of Arsenal came to contact with the coronavirus. I was very, very angry, disappointed that they haven't followed suit of the other leagues, because for me, at the end of the day, when you're seeing all these footballers, celebrities, etc., all coming into contact with this coronavirus, then for me it's a very serious matter and it needs to be dealt with in the right way. Of course, they have to go with what the government have said, and of course it was only yesterday evening that Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, come out with things will go ahead as normal. That's why the Premier League followed suit. But this morning, obviously the big talking point was that games look as if in the Premier League and EFL that they're going to get suspended until the 4th of next month, but it's now being confirmed as the 3rd, because we'll obviously have the Friday games. But at the end of the day, the managers were speaking about it yesterday. Chris Wilder, the Sheffield United manager, he was talking about it, for our game tomorrow at St James's Park, and he said, what's the point in games getting played behind closed doors? Because at the end of the day, football is for the fans to enjoy, not just for the footballers to play alone. The footballers need the fan support, and I'm totally 100% agreeing on that. And of course, Steve Bruce was asked about it this morning, and he said at the end of the day we need 52,000 fans in that stadium. It wouldn't be right for games to be played behind closed doors, because at the end of the day it's the fans that make the game what it is, and obviously the players need the support as well. Before the announcement of Premier League fixtures to be suspended until the 3rd of April, the news did come out that UEFA and all the rest of the big governing bodies, etc., have all come out and said that the Europa League and Champions League will be off as well until further notice. Now, my argument there would be, why were those fixtures actually played this week, when the rest are all off next week? You could look at that as a slight disadvantage, to the ones who've played this week, and they could argue, why can't we just start those, first legs again? Obviously, with Manchester City players and Real Madrid players coming to terms with this coronavirus, the big game between Man City and Real Madrid was called off. Obviously, that now means our FA Cup game against Manchester City next weekend is now called off as well. I'm guessing anybody who's got tickets for Sheffield United, if you're a Newcastle fan, as well for the FA Cup against Manchester City next weekend, I'm sure they will be made available for the rearranged fixtures. But at the end of the day, I mean, health and safety comes first in all of this, and at the end of the day, we've got to just take this coronavirus very, very seriously, and we've got to listen obviously to what the government say. The Premier League and the EFL have seen sense now just to suspend it, and you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. It's been a massive talking point this week, and it doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon. And it's a risk that the Premier League and EFL kind of take, because, like you say, you've got the likes of AFC Bournemouth as well, another club. You know, they're coming into contact with the coronavirus as well, and a lot of these clubs, you know, are self-isolating. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's happened, and it's great that the Premier League have seen sense to suspend games until, you know, the 3rd of April. I did say last night before I took my video down, because I was waiting on the decision this morning, at least give it a couple of weeks to see what happens, and that's exactly what they've done, and then assess the situation in a couple of weeks, and then at least in a couple of weeks we can see if it's got any better or if it's got any worse. If it's got any worse, then of course the games will be, you know, continue to be suspended. Now obviously fans will be asking what's going to happen for the remainder, you know, of the season, you know, what's going to happen with the Euros, etc. Well, nothing's been said about it just yet. In my opinion, I would suspend the Euros until next year. Let the fixtures look after itself, and let's, you know, get the season to its complete end, and then the games can be done then. There's plenty more breathing space, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But like I say, the next Newcastle game will not be played until the 3rd, 4th or 5th of April next month. So that is the breaking news coming from the Premier League. Of course, I did do a match preview for the game against Sheffield United, but what more can you do? You know, you can only go with what the government, the EFL, Premier League, or, you know, what they've been advised. And it's not the sort of news I really wanted to break out, but you could see it coming. You know, all week it's been the massive talking point. I've been talking about it all week, saying that games, you know, should be off, and like I say, the correct decision, I'd say, has been made. So yeah, leave me your thoughts down below in the comments, you know, what you think about this coronavirus. And like I say, it's one of them things that we have to deal with, unfortunately, and come to terms with. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up, support the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one, whatever that may be. That means now I've probably got a couple of weeks off to for myself.